What's going on, y'all? I just wanted to jump on here for a little bit and talk to you guys about something that I think is kind of important and something that I've also fallen victim to here and there periodically. Got my kitty cat here, Agent Scully, with me, but yeah, she never lets me play. She has to get her fill of pets and everything before I can play. So here she is. But the thing that I wanted to talk about real quick is that comparison is a thief, and it's very easy to get on the internet, and the algorithm wants to feed you a bunch of guitar videos and stuff of people just going bonkers bananas with their guitars and just going like and just it's like, is there a turkey in the room or something? They're like right. And I think that it's important to go at your own pace and try to not skip ahead. And like when it comes to like music books or something like that, a lot of people, I think that a lot of people might, let's say, see, she got down now. I think that a lot of people might get a music book or something like that, but not give it the amount of time that it takes, because it's more than just reading the page and what the author said, and then then you go to page 2 or page 5 or whatever it is. Like, it takes a lot of practice, and there's a lot of different songs in these different books that once you learn how to play those pretty well, it makes a lot of other things easy, or it makes them a lot easier. But like when you're just scrolling down TikToks or YouTube shorts or something, and they're just going like, I don't even want to do it because that ain't really how I play. I don't really care for shredding. It's kind of like, is it impressive? Yeah, it is impressive. But does it sound good? Yeah, that's to each their own. But when they're just going, and just going up and down and up and down and up and down, and it is impressive, but the thing is that if you're constantly comparing yourself to other people and where you think you should be, then it can kind of upset your want to continue and practice more, right? So I think that it's just a good practice to just go at your own pace. As far as I'm concerned, I stopped playing video games over a year ago after I found out after the PlayStation app told me that I had spent 1,500 hours playing Diablo 4, and I went, holy crap. Now, it took me a long time to get 1,500 hours, okay? But I thought to myself, well, what would happen if I had spent 1,500 hours practicing guitar and playing guitar? And that's about the time that I started dusting off my guitar, pulled it out from under my bed, went and got another amplifier, and just got to work. And I started, just doing the work and putting the licks in. You're going to make a ton of mistakes, and that's just how it goes. And I still make mistakes all the time. I'm not perfect at all. And, the thing is that a lot of these fellas who are on the internet, who are putting these clips out, how many times did they really re-record that thing? How many mistakes? The cats are fighting. Yeah. But how many mistakes did they make? How many times did they have to reshoot the video? So that's one thing, is like, I might just go ahead and start playing like just right off the top, and not make any changes and not make any kind of edits or anything to the video, so that you can see that, hey, we all make mistakes. We're all human. We're all learning. Even the thing about guitar is that it is a moving goalpost. And once you learn some of these different things, well, and you're like, all right, I got it. Something like that, and then, but then it's like, but what about the whole rest of the neck? You know, because these are all the open chords. You know, you got the G and the D and the C and the A, or I do it like this. You know, there's all these different, but there's all these different things all the way up the neck that, you know, it's like, okay, well, you know, you find something out, like you like, okay, for myself, it's like I find a new chord, I'm like, okay, that sounds okay, you know, but what do I do with that, right? You know, I don't even know what that's called. It's something. It's called a something something. I have no idea. I don't know if it's an A, B, C, D, G. I have no idea. Okay, but what I did was I went, okay, what else sounds good with that? And I went, and then I went, go back to that mystery chord. Something like that, you know, and that's the thing about playing guitar is that there's a lot of trial and error about it, you know, and there's a lot of just figuring things out. I have this entire encyclopedia, okay? Hold on. This is an encyclopedia of guitar chords that came out, I want to say back in the 1970s or 80s or something like that. And the fella who made it, his name was John Pierce. He passed away probably, I don't know, 10, 20 years ago. I'm not sure exactly, and there are some finger breaking chords in here, you know? So, and a lot of them, and you're like, how can I ever remember that stuff? But, you know, a lot of, at least as far as I'm concerned, a lot of guitar is accidental. Like you just finding stuff out. And if you spend enough time playing around and trying to come up with stuff, eventually some things will happen. I actually find it easier to come up with my own little licks and my own little guitar chord progressions and little, I don't know, whatever the hell that was. But like just coming up with my own little doodad things, I find that easier than looking in this guitar book and trying to just like look at it and go like, oh no. You know, like, but once you get it, eventually you stop even needing the book because your brain and your fingers remember it. But it takes time. I mean, sometimes one of these little songs might take me a couple of weeks, you know, of just like trial and error, make some mistakes, do this, do that, you know, and sometimes it still doesn't come out identical, you know. Like, let me think. I can play the solo of Californication. I can play Californication pretty well. You know, I'm not going to try it right now. But I can play Californication pretty well. And I can do the solo pretty well. But there's a part of it where it's like a double stop or something, where you're like hitting two strings and bending at the same time. It's a weird one. So I just do it my own way. And it sounds not exact, but it's good enough for me, right? So, I guess the whole point of this video was that I don't want people to feel discouraged or anything, and try to not skip to the end, because as a lot of people say, the journey is the destination, you know, because if you just go from being like, I don't know anything about guitar, to standing on stage playing with the biggest rock stars in the world, you know, it's kind of like, well, what now? What am I going to do now? So you just take your time and try to spend more time playing and getting familiar with your instrument, familiarizing yourself with the way things sound, because honestly, a lot of it, I mean, all the scales and stuff aside, with enough practice and enough time spent and enough mistakes made, eventually your brain begins to know which notes to hit and which ones not to hit. You know, that's the whole thing about scales. Scales not only tell you which notes to hit, but it also tells you which ones don't sound good, you know, but sometimes they do. And, you know, depending on what the song is calling for, depending on what it is you're trying to do, because that doesn't sound very good to me. But if you go, I mean, you know, it's a thing. It's a thing. You know, I'm sure somebody's doing it somewhere. Okay. So anyway, that's all I really wanted to say. Don't let comparison be a thief of your joy, because there's a lot of people out there who are on the internet who are trying to do stuff like this. And I just want you guys to know that there's a whole world of stuff for you to learn on the guitar, and to try to not compare yourself to somebody out there who's been doing this for 27 years or some 15-year-old prodigy. Actually, I got to mention that, okay? Because when I was, this was several weeks ago, and there was this guy, this young kid, he was 15 years old, maybe 16, maybe 17, okay? And he was playing this song called Cliffs Over Dover by, I can't remember what the guy's name is, but it's called Cliffs Over Dover. And it is the most complex kind of guitar stuff that you can get. Like, if you can play that song, you can do anything, anywhere, at any time. You understand the guitar top to bottom, okay? So basically, it was like, that's like the pinnacle, okay? Once you do that. And, you know, and I said in the comments, I said, hats off to the young man that made me feel inferior about my guitar skills. Yeah, because he did. But I'm me, okay? And this is what I do, okay? This is my entertainment. This is my fun. This is my video games. This is my TV. This is my chill time, my relaxation. This is all of that stuff is sitting right here in my lap. I mean, obviously I do watch some TV, but I haven't played video games in like a year and 4 months, okay? Which is a big deal. Okay, because I used to play every single day. And now I just transferred my attention to something else that I think matters. And, but you know, couple hours a day. Try to play like 2 hours a day, you know? And the thing is that if you've got 6 hours to scroll on TikTok or to scroll YouTube shorts or something like that, I mean, you could probably give 2 hours to your guitar, you know? And on the weekends, like Saturday and Sunday when I'm off of work, I'll play sometimes 5, 6, 7, 8 hours sometimes, you know? I mean, getting up and moving around and, you know, washing a load of laundry or throwing some dishes in the dishwasher or something like that. I do that, you know? And I feed the cats and I walk the dog and scoop cat turds and all that shit. So, you know, I mean, I do things in between, but really, if you boil it down, on the weekends, I play a hell of a lot. So, you know, I mean, just try to prioritize what you're doing and you know, come up with something meaningful that you like to play, and you can play it on repeat. And then, you know, one of these days when you get around a campfire with your homies and you bust out your acoustic guitar or something like that, you have something cool to show them. And they'll be like, hell yeah, man, that's cool. So, you know, that's really all it's about, you know. And maybe someday we can make money off of it. But, you know, I'm not even concerned about that right now, because I really want to just get as good as I can. You know, my wife loves it. My son, he likes it that I play and stuff. My cat, you saw her at the beginning of the video. She's all about it. I can hardly play without her putting her forehead on my strings, or her butt, you know. So how about it? You guys have yourselves a good day, and we'll see you again. Take care. Bye.